Okay, I think we are live on YouTube. Is this right? Yeah, it says it is. Okay, this is new. For a while, we couldn't record on YouTube.
Okay, I think we are
Oh, there
live
we go.
on
Now that's the
YouTube.
background. Sorry, guys. I won't have this
Okay.
happen again. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm Carrie Donegan. It's been a couple of weeks. I took some time off and I'm glad to be back. And we are back in the book Eat to Beat Your Diet by Dr. William Li. And it is, how do you like this book? If you are somewhere where you can comment, can you put that in the comment section? I just like to take a pulse to see what you're thinking, if you're reading it, if you're starting to put in some of the suggestions that he's recommending in the book. I know I have. And today we're actually going to talk about a couple of things. So, first and foremost, we're going to continue on with the bioactives. So, if you missed the beginning part of the bioactive section of the book, then you may want to go back to previous episodes. The second thing I really want to talk to you about is how not to be overwhelmed. There is one source that you can actually take every day so easily that you will be able to get all these bioactives. And then the third thing we're going to talk about a little bit, if we have time, is actually to get into some topics about dealing with your health defense systems. I'm not sure we're going to get into all of that today, but let's give it a shot. So, the first thing that I want to do, and I may have talked about this in the last episode, but let's bridge the two since there's been a gap in broadcasting, and that is beta D glucan. You've heard a lot about this, I think, in recent years. It's become a big topic of research. It's become a big topic in medicine and in nutrition. And I think is really, really important. The first place that we saw this at doTERRA was actually during COVID. They came out with something called On Guard Chewables. And this was a defense um, chewable essential oil based tablet that you can take every day. I actually keep them in my car. I don't necessarily take them every day. I got kind of lazy after COVID when it came to boosting my immune system. But this morning I woke up a little tired. I have to say, I have been kind of burning the candle at both ends. I got to get back to my really good sleep. Um, window. All right. So any of you that kind of slip out of into those good habits, right? You had those good habits, you kind of slip, you have to go back to them. That's all. Don't beat yourself up. Don't worry that you've ruined everything. We're just going to go back to doing those good habits. So tonight, my goal is actually to get into bed as on time as possible and to get that 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That's the goal that we want. Using the Serenity system can help a lot. It helps me. I take it no matter what, even if I'm super tired, because sometimes when I'm super tired, I wake up in the middle of the night or something you ate, something you didn't eat, not enough hydration. So this is going to really help reset all of those systems so you get a really good night's sleep. Uh, Same thing, beta D glucan found in the On Guard chewables. It has zinc, it has vitamin C, it has a lot of essential oils in it. You can take these every day. And you know what? As seasons are changing, people are one day it's warm, one day it's cold, one day it's raining, you wear the wrong clothing, your immune system kind of goes down. Spring is great. I love spring, but it is a roller coaster ride, especially in Northeast Ohio, which is where I am, where we can experience all four seasons in one day, believe it or not. It's really important that you protect yourself. So I'm going to go back to chewing those tablets again. I recommend you do too. So that's the first place we saw beta D glucan pop up at doTERRA. The second place we saw it was in the MetaPower Advantage. This is our collagen product, but it's much more than a collagen product. It's a longevity product. We have it there. And the third place that we have it that I love is in the VMG packet. And I'm going to talk a lot more about foundational wellness today and how we get all these bioactives in a really simple, easy to do everyday routine. So why do we need beta-glucan? Where is it found? In nature, it's found in mushrooms, oats, barley, wheat, and edible brown seaweed. And so you're gonna find those things in this powder. So it kind of makes it easier than making sure you have all this in your pantry every week, every day. What am I supposed to grab? Remember, My little trick, the hack is to put a list on your refrigerator. So when you go grocery shopping, you know you're kind of checking all the boxes of these bioactives. That's really important. Beta-glucan is very important for your microbiome. So another thing we're going to do is take doTERRA Restore. This is our probiotic product, and it's much more than that. It's a prebiotic fiber, it's a postbiotic, and it has phages in it. And we've talked a lot about this. So just know that there is no other comparable product on the market. It's much more than just a probiotic. Uh, and what does this do? Why do we need beta-glucan? So this is what he says. He says it can fight body fat, cause weight loss, help your metabolism by improving insulin sensitivity, and it also slows the speed with which your body empties the stomach. And that's important because if your body empties your stomach really quickly, you can tend to get those hormones that spike again and you get hungry again. Remember, the reason that we get hungry is because of different hormonal reactions that come from the blood. And so we want to make sure that there's enough nutrition in our bloodstream and that we're not constantly going after food when we don't need it, right? If we need it, eat. If you don't need it, don't eat. Second, lycopene. Lycopene has that colorful red hue. You find it in tomatoes, watermelon, guava, papaya, persimmons, red bell peppers, and even pink grapefruit. So lycopene counters weight gain by making white fat become brown fat. We like that. We know there's a couple of bioactives that do that, so we love those. There is a unique fat fighting trick that lycopene has. It shrinks the amount of liquid fat that is stored in your adipocytes. So that's a unique trait that it has. Get those red foods in every day, and you're going to be able to utilize that characteristic. The next one we're going to talk about is lignans. Lignans are bioactives found in things like sesame, sunflower, pumpkin, flax seeds, and soybeans. I know sometimes seeds get a really bad name because they've taken seeds and they've turned them into industrialized oils, but seeds in and of themselves are not really bad for you. And one of the things I just read about, which I thought was very interesting, and I encourage you to go and research this a little more, is that people who are worried about seeds actually have leaky gut. And those are the people who are being damaged by some of the chemicals that come from certain plants because it's actually like crossing through the intestine into the bloodstream, which is not where you want it. You want to keep it in the small intestine. So no leaky gut, no problem with these plants. So it's not the plant's fault. It's actually that our diets have really destroyed our digestive system, and we want to make sure that we can heal the digestive system. Again, foundational wellness is going to help with that. Restore omegas and the VMG plus. So those are the three core products that you want every day in your diet to beat diseases and to beat your diet, to have the kind of body that you're looking for. So where else are we going to find lignans? They're protective against weight gain. One of the things that they do, oh, and they're also including flax seeds in there for our flaxseed friends. These lignans produce hormones that respond to insulin. So that's good. We want insulin sensitivity. This is going to help with that. You can also find it in places like broccoli, cabbage, and certain fruits like apricots, nectarines, strawberries also contain lignans. All right. Ellagic acid. Ellagic acid is what gives the tartness to strawberries. So we find this also in cranberries and raspberries and pomegranates, as well as chestnuts and walnuts and pecans. So I call it that kind of like dry little zing at the end when you eat certain foods. That's ellagic acid. So, what does this do? It improves your metabolism in a number of ways, including fat stem cells that become useful brown fat and white fat to undergo browning, right? We like that. It also increases the amount of UCP1. Remember, UCP1 is what we want because it promotes thermogenesis and it turns on GLP-1, right? These like all these drugs that everybody's taking with side effects that we're worried about, but you can get GLP-1 naturally. You don't have to take it in a drug. So that's the good news. It's going to ignite thermogenesis. That's what we want and lowers inflammation in the body. Remember, it does more than one thing, right? So it heats everything up, gets it burning, doing its job, getting that nutrition into your bloodstream. And it also reduces all that inflammation and swelling in your body that you don't want. Okay. Anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are our dark purple blueberry kind of foods that we want to get every day. So they attract bees to pollinate flowers. So that's a really important thing. We know we want to keep those bees alive. The animals eat the colorful fruits and spread their seeds. So, how do we include those? We want blueberries, blackberries, purple corn, purple potatoes, chokeberries, black raspberries, bilberries, elderberries, and black plums. All of those have those anthocyanins. Anthocyanins. Okay. So we found out that you can reduce your weight by 20% and lower your adipose tissue by 18 to 20% in mice who took these anthocyanins. So we want those in there too. Okay. Next, let's talk about our like rich olivey kind of foods. How many people like those foods? So those are called hydroxytyrosol foods. This is a potent bioactive. It's made by the fruit as it matures, and it's mostly present in watery liquid pressed from olives during the making of extra virgin olive oil. But it's also found in the olives, also found in the oil. So you get it either in eating the olives or eating the olive oil. I'm not a huge fan of olives. I'll eat them. I don't love them. Love olive oil, which is weird. I know some people like peanuts. They don't like peanut butter. Can't explain it, but it is true. All right. So it is good for your gut microbiome. It's good for the visceral fat in your belly. It increases the diversity of your bacteria that's present in your microbiome, and it has anti-inflammatory effects. So lots of really good things we're going to get from our hydroxytyrosols. Now we have sulfur sulforaphane. So, what's a sulforaphane? We're also going to find those, and again, back to our cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, broccoli sprouts, cabbage, bok choy, mustard greens, kale, collard greens, and Brussels sprouts. They cause the browning of white fat, which we like. They incite thermogenesis and reduce inflammation. They are unique because they reverse leptin resistance. All right, so that's important. Let's put a bookmark there. Let's get a highlighter and put that there. So, are you eating broccoli, broccoli sprouts, cabbage, bok choy, mustard greens, kale, collard greens, etc.? Because if you are someone who's hungry all the time, you probably are leptin resistant. Okay. So, more of these foods and try to overeat these foods. Have you ever tried to overeat kale before? It's really hard. It's really, really hard. Like, it's like, okay, I had enough broccoli. Okay, I had enough collard greens. Like, it's just not chocolate, you know? It's like you're just not ice cream. You're not going to overeat it, which is great. It's going to turn on that leptin responsiveness. So, which reverses your feeling of hunger, right? The more broccoli you eat, the less hungry you're going to become, which is great. Sulforaphanes reverse the resistance so your brain can do the right thing for your metabolism and turn down your feeling of hunger, an important move that helps you combat body fat. Now, omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids are also well known. So we love our omegas. I love the doTERRA omegas. They're full of wild orange, so yummy. We also find these in seafood. We find them in different types of fish like salmon, sardines, and anchovies. Got to be careful though with the heavy metals. Make sure you're getting something, not too much. So eat those foods, that's fine, but take your omegas because there's definitely no mercury in those omegas. It's all been taken out. If there was any to begin with, it's all been tested. When you open up that can of fish or you eat fresh fish, you just honestly, you don't know. So for those fish lovers out there, go ahead and eat your fish, but just be careful that you don't eat too much of it. Sometimes I even heard this on Joe Rogan, believe it or not, that he was eating so many sardines that he was ending up with, I think it was almost like mercury poisoning. So just be careful. Go with those omega-3s, much safer from doTERRA, just omega plus, and it's got this beautiful orange flavor. You can swallow them or you can chew them. So, why do we need that? Because it stimulates the TRPV1 receptor in your gut, just like chili peppers and green tea, and it sends a signal to the brain that it's time to release neuropinephrine and trigger thermogenesis. So, it also helps to turn brown fat on and it turns the white fat into brown fat. So, we like that. All right, so I think we have a couple more minutes to cover some things. Are you up for a few more things? Let's put a pause in that for a second because I just want to review the fact that we have talked over the last three episodes about bioactives. And this started with chapter 4 on page 86. And we have gone through to page 95. So almost 10 pages of bioactives. If you're like me, you want to do the right thing, but that sounds overwhelming. So doTERRA has a solution for us, which is great. It's called VMG Plus. This is a powder pack that's full of all your bioactives. It's also full of your nutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, lots of really good things that you need. And because it's a powder, it's easy to take with you because if you don't have time in the morning, take this to work. If you're running around with your kids, throw this in your purse. At some point, you're going to get thirsty. Just put this in a water bottle, shake it up, and drink it. It's so easy. And I mix it with everything. I'm like a one-stop shop kind of person. I want to make sure if I get everything in at one time, I'm going to do it. If I have to spread it out, and do a whole bunch of different things. It's too complicated for me. So I take my advantage and I put in the glass. I put this in the glass. I put my fiber from doTERRA in the glass. What else do I put? I put my electrolytes. I put my recharge in there. And I have a glass shaker bottle that I got for free from doTERRA because I am on the rewards program. You should get on the rewards program. Shake it up, take it, and you're good to go for the whole day. I take it in the morning, so I have all that good liquid nutrition. I shouldn't say I take it in the morning. I take it with my first meal, which is usually between 10:30 and 11. So it's not like early in the morning. But it gives me, I'm up late, so I'm up for another 12 hours easily. So all my nutrients, right, that I need to draw from while I'm awake are going to come from this. So this is the one thing that you need, whether you get your broccoli or not, whether you get your omegas or, I mean, omegas are different. We're going to take those too. Whether you get your allergic acid or you get your quercetin, right? All of these things, if you're trying to check boxes, it can be overwhelming. Don't let it be overwhelming. Just take the packet. All right. And then when you go grocery shopping, look at that list and pick some of those good bioactive foods, and you're going to be set. It's going to be so good for your body. You're going to feel really good. So let's now move on because we're done with bioactives and talk about foods that activate your health defenses systems to fight fat. So you have a defense system that actually fights fat. Recall that your fat cells are tethered to your five health defense systems. The cells rely on adequate blood supply, which is angiogenesis, which we talked about. They're formed from stem cells, which is regeneration, and are influenced by your gut bacteria, your microbiome. Okay, so we know all this. You guys are on top of this. The DNA can be impacted by your environment behavior, like epigenetics, right? So remember, your DNA or your genes are the piano, and your epigenetics are the pianist who plays the piano, right? So 5% of our health outcomes are determined by our genes, 95% are determined by epigenetics, the thing that acts upon those genes. That's the most important part. 95%, right? That's the most important part. The pianist, more than the piano. So don't get discouraged when you look at that long list of things that other people in your family have suffered from. You are not necessarily turning those genes on because you're the piano player, right? You are the pianist. You're going to do things differently than your family did. And now, actually, I mean, just as an aside, they're thinking that it actually wasn't genetics that's cause for repeat health challenges in families, it's basically because we pass on our behaviors from one family member to another. So it's more your environment than your genetics that determine your health outcome, which is really good because it means you're in a lot more control than we thought we were. So let's look. It says, well, it turns out that the foods that activate your health defenses also use these connections to help right size your body fat. So your immune system, right, your ability to stay healthy is directly correlated with your body's ability to stay at the proper weight. So they go hand in hand, which I think is really important. I always think thermogenesis up, inflammation down. Inflammation is a response to a health negative. So if that helps you at all. So let's look at foods that starve fat. Your angiogenesis defense system provides lifelines to oxygen and nutrients to your healthy body fat. Keeps your fat in a healthy state so it can do its job as body padding, as a fuel deposit, and as heat generator, and as a hormone producing organ. Okay, so that's what fat is for. Remember, fat is good, right? It produces your hormones. That's important. Creates heat. That's important. It pads your body so, like, if you're injured, your vital organs don't get hurt in any way, shape, or form. And it's a fuel deposit. So, when you're fasting, when you need extra energy, when you're working out, when you need to draw from your stores, you have something there to draw from. That's really, really important. So, what are going to be the foods that we're going to use to do that? Many fat-fighting foods and bioactives I discussed earlier, this is Dr. Lee speaking, have anti-angiogenic powers. Quercetin, chlorogenic acid, tyrosol, sulforaphane, genistein, didaden, androcyene, beta-glucan. Okay, everything in those previous 10 pages. They all can help control and throttle back on harmful blood vessels that feed excess fat, just like a tumor. So guess what? These things are also going to help you stay away from tumors, which I think is super important. Another move that helps your metabolism, fasting also starves cancer cells and can shrink excess body fat by pruning away their blood supply. So, for example, today I'm taking a fasting day. So I'm going to be drinking tea. I'm going to make sure I get my salt. I may, if I'm working later and feeling tired, take some Mito Max PPQ, but I'm trying to stay away from food today. So non-sugary drinks, coffee, tea, water is fine, but I'm not dirty fasting. I'm not taking any fats in. There's lots of different ways to fast. I just want to give my body kind of a rest day and allow it to do some cell regeneration. And as I said, I'm feeling like a little bit sick. So actually not eating is going to allow my immune system to work a little easier because it doesn't have to throttle between digestion and working on my immune system. And then tomorrow I can pick up where I left off. So let's see. He says the other thing that we can look at is chili peppers, which is also very, very powerful. Now, regenerative defenses and fighting fat. Your regenerative defenses can be tested with combating excess fat as well. So this is where that stem cells come in. So a stem cell is a pre-adipocyte. So a stem cell is what happens before you form a fat cell, and it can morph into any type of cell. So a pre-adipocyte can actually change and become any type of cell that it wants. When it's actually acted upon by something and goes rogue, it can turn into a cell that you don't want it to turn into. So chlorogenic acid found in apples, pears, artichokes, kiwi fruit, and capers, and allogenic acid that's found in pomegranates, cranberries, chestnuts, and walnuts can do this. They tell stem cells to make useful brown fat instead of white fat. So I look at this, I go, you know what? I want more brown fat because you can't live without fat, but I want the good fat. I don't want the bad fats. And so which of these foods can I easily get into my diets? For me, it's going to be walnuts. I can get walnuts all year round, And eating a few walnuts a day can ensure the fact that I'm going to get that ellagitic acid. But when it's the fall, guess what? I'm going to be eating apples and pears. So that's going to be really good. And in the wintertime, I also like dried cranberries. So I'm going to have some cranberries. Sometimes I have pomegranate juice, fresh, unsweetened pomegranate juice in the refrigerator. That's also something that I can use. Other things we can do all year round are things like olives and olive oil. So I love to make eggs in the morning. Eggs are perfect food. It has all your amino acids in it. It's just such a great food. Um, One of the things I love about that is just cooking them in olive oil. All right. So you get both. You get all those proteins, and then you also get all the good things that come from olive oil. So that's easy, right? Walnuts, olive oil. See where I'm saying? Like, pick the low-hanging fruit, literally. Pick the things that are going to be easy and good for you. Okay. So we're going to pick up next week with turning your microbiome against fat, which I think is going to be a fun chapter. I have lots of really good information. We landed on page 95 today. You guys did great. I hope it wasn't overwhelming to you. And remember, the one thing you have to do is grab your VMG Plus every day, and you got a lot of what we talked about covered. You're in a perfect path. And if you add certain things like doTERRA MetaPower Advantage, you're going to fill things in. If you need to boost your immune system, go grab those On Guard chewables. So I give you three products today to really focus on. On Guard chewables, right? With the beta glucan, the Advantage, the MetaPower Advantage, and your VMG Plus. Last but not least, the partners of VMG Plus are your omegas and your probiotic suite of products in Restore. So good. I will see you all next week. Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Carrie Donegan. And remember, just longevity is just a moment away. All you need to do is start incorporating some of these beautiful things, and you're well on your way to a younger you. We'll see you next week. Oh boy, I am not doing so good on this.